we'll have another like 1 month training we'll have, and you will be doing the daily tasks. And somebody like already you guys are doing a good job, like designing the HTML things are doing a good job. So I think that much skill is enough for the HTML and CSS. And all you need to learn is the any either you can learn React or Angular or Vue, but three things are not required. But if you are learning three things, that also added advantage. But you can learn any one framework and you can sustain. The only thing is these three technologies are a competitor for each other. So whatever the whatever the concepts are there in the Angular, same concepts will be there in the React, and same concepts will be there in the Vue. But the difference between them is the syntax wise there will be difference, and the name, like what the feature we are calling in the Angular, they will call in the with a different name. So the names will be different, but the concepts will be same almost among the all the frameworks. So you can decide any framework and you can start. And here why we started with the Angular here is it is a open source, and it is developed by Google team. We have the latest, like we'll have the frequent updates in the Angular and so on. And to develop the things in Angular, it is much easier and we can do it fastly. So we have selected this Angular. And even if you are new to the Angular, there is no problem. You just need to learn HTML and CSS. So the remaining things will go from the Angular here. And even I will give some tutorials or Udemy course. I'll just suggest you, so you can go on. And what we are going to do here is, first we will start like daily I'm giving a task, simple task, like a simple HTML page. When you're looking at the first page, you might see what is this page and why are you developing only this page. And I'm just giving the task to you to develop the HTML and CSS skills. And if you are working in the web development, the HTML and CSS are important. So that's why I'm giving. And once you are doing all the simple tasks, and final day, like in our project, we will combine all the screens together and we will make a separate project. So and once you are done with the like 30 days or whatever the period we are taking, you can see we'll ready with a project, simple project. And based on the project, you can take that project and you can keep with you. And that will be it will be like similar with the a a production support application. So you can keep it as a reference. And based on the like who are doing the tasks daily wise, and whose the project is good, finally we will review all those everyone projects and who are the best, and we will take a few of them from the internship as already they have mentioned. And they have some criteria. I think they have some limited criteria to take the internship and working in the real-time projects. So, and we have in our company we have a project called, there is a project called SS Stock Alerts, and we are working on that. That's a real-time project which is working on lively. So, and we will expose you to the that project. And before that, we will start with the Angular. Okay, now we will start with the Angular. Okay, so already in the earlier step, I told you to install the Node.js. We will start from the scratch here, and we'll create a new application. We will write the what are the things we need to want, and we'll run the Angular application. Okay. Okay. So to start with the again, I'm just refreshing this installation steps. To the Angular, just go to angular.io site and go to the local setup.local, and you can come down and there will be a link for the installing the Node.js. You can go to Node.js directory, this website, and download the latest version, either 14 or 15. Try to download the recommended version, so 14 version. And once you download, and just download to your machine and run it. So like it will be like install, clicking on next so that it will be installed. So once you install, and what you need to do is you just need to verify whether your node is installed correctly or not. So you can open the command prompt and just type node-v. Which will give you the what is the version you have installed. If you have not installed, it will just say unknown command. So that means your node is not installed correctly, or the path is not there. And once you install, you can see the node-v. So yeah, we have installed the 14.5 version. Now node is ready, and after that what we need to do is
Sir,
yes.
sir, I am using, sir, Node 10.10 version, sir.
Yeah, no problem with the version. You can have more than 10, that is fine. Even like I'm just currently they have the 14. You can use any version greater than 10.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Until if you are facing any issues with the Angular, there is no problem. But the least version we want to have is 10, Node 10. So once you are done, and here, first thing what you need to do is you need to install the our Angular CLI to your machine. Here, let me tell you what is this npm. This is a node package manager, and if you have worked with any other technologies, like this is like a library pulling. So this Angular CLI, it is available in the cloud, and you want to download the software like the Angular CLI library to your machine. To install that one, we are using this command npm node package manager, and which comes with the our node installation. And we are telling we want to install the Angular CLI. So, and what is this -g means? -g means globally. That means if you are not giving this -g, this Angular CLI will be added to the current folder. Like if I am in the Angular, suppose my application, so Angular CLI will be added to the only my application. But when you are giving -g means globally, that means entire in your system, you can go to any other folder also, and if you are just seeing Angular CLI, it will work fine. That's why -g for global. So once you are done with Angular CLI setup, then we can just go to the now we Angular is ready, and we can just go ahead with ng new and my app. So what is this ng means? Ng means our Angular predefined command. So whenever if you want to do generate any commands, you can just give the ng. And what is this new means? We are trying to create a new application, not the new component. We are trying to create the new application. And what is the name of our application? We can give any name. So, and based on our project requirements, we can give any name. So let me create the another project. So, and we will start from the scratch here, and I will share the code, the sample code, whatever I'm trying here, right? I will share the code as a zip file. You can take and you can download. Either you can work on them or you can create your own and you can try to do it. So ng new, I'll say admin app. Okay. For generating, as I shown in the last, to generating this application, it will ask like what's the SAS file you want to use, whether routing is important or not. Just give s, and yes, I want routing. Okay, and it will ask it what is the uh, syntax for styles, like cascading styles. I'm just selecting SAS. Okay, that's all. It will create the our first application. And once we are creating the application, so what is this Angular? Let it create, and I will explain what is each folder, and you can be aware of it. And whenever you go to interview, they'll ask the question, where is the starting point of the Angular application? So how it will work? How Angular knows which component to load in the first time? All those questions will be asked in an interview. So I will go to the each point and I'll explain how this Angular is working. And I have a limited time, only a few hours I have there for training. So with the few hours, I'll try to tell you the concepts, what are the important things, and most of the things I can tell you, and like what are the components or what are the concepts are required for creating a project and working on the project. I will tell you all those things, but I might not be fully, it's not like a tutorials end to end. I cannot teach you just because of the time limitation. But when you have any third session or fourth session, definitely I will include the missing topics also. But whatever the things is required for a project, definitely will cover all those things. So no need to worry about it. Let it create. And meanwhile it create, and I was saying just go to the bootstrap and work with the bootstrap, right? And you guys might have a doubt why we have to use the bootstrap, and we are working with the Angular, and why do we need to use the bootstrap, right? So you guys might have a doubt over about it. And why do you want to use the bootstrap is, it is a framework and it is a open source framework. And like the framework is nothing but a, what are the problems we are facing in a web development, they have a solution, and they they made it as a project. So that is nothing but a solution for the all the web development CSS projects. So they have come up with the bootstrap. There are other frameworks also is there for styling, but we are going with the bootstrap. And why do you want to go with the bootstrap means, if you just go to the bootstrap framework, you can see all the styles and what are the styles are required. uh, all the things will be there in the bootstrap framework. So I'm just going here, and let me just, so this is an example site. If you go to like, even if you go to an Amazon site or AWS site, so whenever you are clicking on something action, there will be alert or like a notification. They're saying so the notification you can made using these alerts, and these styles are already, it is there in the bootstrap. And it is like a ready-made framework where we can just copy this line and add it to our project. It will work seamlessly. That's the reason we are going with the bootstrap. And there are, in the bootstrap there are many things are there, like alerts and badges and breadcrumbs. So what I suggest is, you no need to buy hard anything. I never say buy hard. So things from the any other framework also, just go to bootstrap site and go to the click on the components, and you can see the what are the components are there. Here we have the alerts. So what is the use of alerts? You can just see the example here. So whenever it is required in our project, we will use this alert, and we will copy this div and we will change it based on our modification. And there is a badge, and let me go to the, so, and the badge is nothing but, so whenever we want to show something like this, and we will use the badge. Okay. And there is a breadcrumbs. So if you go to any other AWS site, like any, take any example as any good site like Microsoft or Amazon or the big company websites, and you can see these breadcrumbs. So, and what are the buttons? So, and you can see the button styles are already they have given with the primary, secondary, success, danger. So these things already available there. Instead of rewriting the code from the scratch, they have already done, and we will take from them. That's the reason I said you take the bootstrap and work on it. So that no, like suppose I want to add a button. If you are adding a button in the HTML, you will not get this color. It will be like a plain button. We'll see it how it goes. So that's the reason we are selecting the bootstrap. And let me select the, okay, there is another library called Fontasm. Okay, and what is this library is, this library also open source. And in our project, like in any project, mostly we will use the icons for the representation. So whenever you want to use some icons, you no need to copy those icons to your folder, and we want to and load them. So instead of that, there is a library called Fontasm. We can include this library into our project, and we can use them these styles. So here almost there are some 500 icons are there. We can use whatever the icons we need, and like we will include this library also. So it is also very good. And let me open with some one example. So this is the image, and this image can be size can be increased based on our needs. We just need to set the font size for this, so it will automatically increase the size to add this icon, just copy this I tag alone. So here the main thing is class name, that is nothing but a, this is the icon class name. So if you have the correct class name, it will work fine. And we will include the font awesome also our project, and we will work on it. Let us check with the our, okay. So our project is already created and it is ready. Okay, I hope you have already installed the Visual Studio Code. Already in the first session itself I told install the Visual Studio Code, so that the editing IDE will be easier, the editing part will be easier for us. So I just install the Visual Studio Code, and if you have seen, I just open the newly created project, our admin project, and we can run it. So how to run it? Anybody can tell me how to run it?
NGS.
Okay, okay, ng serve, right?
Serve or NGS.
Okay, okay, you can type ng serve, or there is another command called npm start. I'll show you how this npm start works. So both are same, like whenever you are typing npm start, internally it will call the ng serve only. So no need to think about what is this new command. It is just a wrapper. So whenever we are typing start, it will call the ng serve only, and we will show you where where we will configure that also. Okay, let it start. And okay, before we going into the the project setup, like the HTML page, like already you guys are doing good job in the HTML designing. So then the HTML part I will not take care, and you can learn just HTML from the W3 schools or tutorial point. But here we will we will concentrate on the only on the Angular part here. Okay, so these two things are done. Now the third thing is TypeScript. So Angular fully, like if you have the JavaScript knowledge, that is very easy. Or if you have the C#, or if you have the Java knowledge, that is also very easy to understand this TypeScript. But even if you don't have the knowledge, I'll just give you overview about the TypeScript and how to use this, and we can go with that. Okay, so always try to go to the respective website, and they'll have the full detail instead of the other websites, and go to the typescript.org language, and we can, there will be TypeScript tooling in 5 minutes, and we can go from the there. Okay, and in the Angular, like in the npm, if you want to install any software, like any package, just you need to give the npm and install. And what is the package name you want to install, you have to give the package name. Suppose if you want to install the TypeScript in our programming, so we just give to TypeScript. And if you want to install the bootstrap, npm install bootstrap. If you want to install the font awesome, we need to give the npm install and font awesome. So these things we need to do, and we'll check it how our project is running or not. Okay, and I think already have running another project. Let me stop it. Okay, okay. Then now we'll go with the first let it run, and we'll go with the first what we need to run is, like we have run the ng new admin application. So here, and what that command generates the folder structure, we can go each and individual. So here the first folder you are seeing is E2E. It is nothing but a test. It will be like a whoever working on the testing, like if you want to test automation something, test script, all those files will be there in the E2E. And this node underscore modules, and another thing is no one will ask you what is there inside the folder, but I'm just giving the overview about it. So, and what is this node modules is, in each project, like here in the, suppose if you take in this example, we are going to use the bootstrap and font awesome. So all those are libraries and those are not belongs to our project, but we want to use them. So to use them, first we want to download them and keep it in our project. So what will happen is, whenever we are installing any third party packages, all the third party packages will be going to the node underscore modules. So this node underscore modules is nothing but like a your project library folder. So here if you go to inside the library folder, you can see all the dependent package names. So here we are, each folder we are calling it as a package. So all the library will be there as a package here, and you can see all the library, there will be so many package has been downloaded by Angular itself. Like these are the required files. So whenever you are facing, like if you are, whenever you are checking out a new project, this node underscore modules might not be there, and what you need to is just npm install. So what will happen is, it will download all the files which required for the node underscore modules. So the first is testing framework, the second is node library files, and the next thing is src. So whatever the code we are going to write, all the files will be there in the src directory only. So src meant for our source directory, which will have the all the development code, right? And okay, and then next thing is this dot browser dot list, and what are the browsers we are going to support, and what are the things it will be there inside the this browser information. And editor config is, it is nothing but your this editor, like whatever the editor you are going to use, that editor information will be there here, and that is not important for us. And the important is angular.json. What is this angular.json? So entire our project structure will be saving into the this information angular.json. So and we can give like the most configuration, the project configuration will be there in the angular.config angular.json file. And I will explain like each and every part I will explain here before going to this. And there is a small concepts in the below, and we'll go through them and we'll come back to the angular.json. And this karma.json is like a testing framework who want to write the test code for the web development. Suppose they want to test the, like what are the code they have written, and they want to write the unit test cases, they can write with the this karma framework, right? And the next thing is package.json and package log.json. This is very very important, and I'll tell you. So here earlier what we have tried is npm install, and we are giving the TypeScript, right? So what internally it will do is, whatever the name we are giving it, that name it will be adding into the dependencies here. So the package.json is like a the dependency maintainer file, like we are maintaining all the dependency information into a one file, that is nothing but your package.json. Suppose if you are working in a new project, suppose Angular new project, you want to see what are the dependencies, you can just go to package.json and come here, and there will be a tag called dependencies. So inside the dependencies you can see all the packages on that project what they are using it. Okay, so in this project what we are trying to use, we are trying to use the Angular animations, Angular common, Angular compiler, Angular core, Angular forms, and there is no like in the bootstrap not we had added. So and we can see all the libraries, and if you want to add it manually, you either you can add it manually like this, like suppose bootstrap I want, uh, copy the exact name, and you can add the version, which version you want to have it. And once you are done, just save it and again just run the npm install, so it will work fine. But instead of writing ourselves, we can just run a command. The command will add the entry into the package.json file, right? This package.json is nothing but a your library management, like the package management file. And earlier what we have done is, we have run the np instead of ng serve, what I did is npm start, right? So how it working is, if you have seen this in the scripts, so what we have gone is ng is nothing but our ng and start. So what is the start it will do is, it will call the ng serve. So whenever you are typing npm start, what it will do is ng serve internally. So they have by default they have defined in the scripts. So this is the reason I just given the npm start. Either you can give the ng server also directly or npm start, anything is fine. Suppose you want to build, you can build the ng build or you can write the npm build, anything is fine. So the commands are mapped in the in which file, package.json file. Okay, in the package.json file they have mapped the commands, that's the reason. Okay, and we have seen the dependencies also. And the last thing is the dev dependencies. There are two type of dependencies there, and one is the dev dependencies, another is dependencies. What is these two differences is, this dev dependencies is nothing but which are the files required to work on the library, and these files are not required when we are running the our project in a live, like when we are running our project into the production mode, these dependencies are not required. These are required only when we are developing it. Suppose Angular CLI is there. So when we are typing ng command, generate a new command, so we require the Angular CLI. But in the when we are working with the production, this Angular CLI is not at all required. So that type of dependencies you can add in the dev dependencies. So and when we are like when this will be automatically managed by the npm install that command. So it will be added. So just you can see the TypeScript also added as a dev dependency. That means this dependency is not required for the real time, like the production time. It is required only when we are developing time. So those dependencies are there in the dev dependencies. Okay, so I want to conclude this package.json file. Why I'm giving importance is, this is the file. You can see what are the packages you have used in any project, and you can know what are the packages they are using in the project, and you can learn those packages if required. That's why I'm just giving it. And here you can see the scripts. So the scripts will be like a alternative commands for the direct ng commands. So if I'm giving npm start, it will give the ng serve. If I'm giving npm build, it will give a ng build. So it will be like a just alternative commands, and you can write your own command like hyphen arg, something like that. We can do any customization also in the file. And you know the dependencies, and shortly we will install the bootstrap and font awesome, and so that we can see the other dependencies here. The bootstrap dependency currently it is not there, and we will add the bootstrap dependency also. Okay, and this readme is nothing but like what is this project and how to, it will be automatic generated file, and you want to see how to generate the this is just like a tutorial for the ng. So if you want to start our angular, just give the angular ng serve. If you want to generate a new command, ng generate component and component name. We will see this in the shortly, so that, and if you want to build this and run it in the production server, what we need to do is we need to generate the ng build. And these are ts config the files are nothing but TypeScript configuration files, which will be like when we are working with this angular, it is like just syntax maintenance files. So the most important files for us is package.json and angular.json, right? So I hope you are clear till now, and I'm going with the angular.json. And if you think some I'm going with some good speed, just let me know. I will slow down. Okay, we will go with the angular.json. Here we can see the what is the project name, and where is our project structure is there, and uh, what are the styles we are using it. Everything we will see from the here. So it is a JSON file. In the JSON file, always what we will have is key and value pairs. So here if you are taking, this is a key, so this key can be anything, and this is a value. So in the JSON, always will have only two parts, key and value. So this is a key and this is a value, and this key can hold an object also. An object is nothing but, if you're seeing, this is a open bracket and close bracket, this is nothing but an object in JSON. Inside the JSON, inside the object, they can have a another properties or another object also. So here the main thing what we are looking for is, okay, and what is the prefix for application. So we are just giving the app, and here we will maintaining the what are the styles we are going to use in our project, and what is the where our build application, our application will be generated. And see, this is the output path is nothing but in the distribution folder, admin app folder will be generated when we are running the ng build. Currently I did not run the ng build, so there is no folder dist, but when we are running our ng build, we will see the dist folder. So always our dist folder is nothing but our generated folder. Okay. And index, so index is very important. What is the first html file in your project going to open? So when you're using Angular, this is the first HTML file it will open the Angular by the Angular. So index.html is the first file. And what is the first, like how, what is the component first it will be open? It just saying main.ts file. So .ts is referring TypeScript. So .ts for TypeScript, and it will open the main.ts, and we will open these two files in a few minutes. And before that we'll go to the bottoms. And what is this polyfills? And what is this polyfills is nothing but, so the polyfills is nothing but what Angular says is Angular one framework will work for the all the browsers. So how it is possible is using the polyfills. So what this polyfills does is, so if some code is working in Chrome, some code is not working in the other browser like Firefox or Internet Explorer. So, and this polyfills has written a specific code for the Internet Explorer and specific code for the Firefox. So, and what will happen? We will, they have the written all the for the all the browsers, they have written the polyfills, so that whatever the feature we are working, and it will be working seamlessly in all the browsers. So that is just because of the reason of polyfills, and we have included the poly, like by default Angular has included the these polyfills, right? Okay. And what is the configuration, TypeScript configuration for this project? And this AOT is very important. And AOT, like they will ask what is AOT in the interview. So what is the AOT means? uh, Ahead of time compilation. So it is true means what it is happening is, whenever we are building our Angular application, what will happen is it will compile all our code, and it will be like a ready thing. Here we are writing the components, and when we are building this project and deploying in the live, these components will not be rendered as like that. Before that itself, when we are building itself, it will be compiled and it will be in the ready state, so that it will be, so that it will, in the production it will directly execute things. And what is the assets? And this assets is nothing but, every project will have use the some icons or some scripts, so that we can have in the this assets folder. Suppose let me open our sample application. Let me copy this. Okay, this is our, so if you have seen this, right, it shows the Angular icon A, and this is nothing but our favicon. If you go to the bootstrap, they are saying B icon, that is their favicon. So for each application they have some icon, and so that icon is nothing but a favicon icon. And here we can see the where it is there. So it is there in the src, in the assets folder they have the src and favicon. And we can see the asset, like inside the src we have the assets. And in the Angular, each component will have a css file, but if you want to develop all the common styles into a single css file, we have a file called styles.css, which is available in the src folder. Let me open the src folder. See, so in the src we have assets, right? And in and another also we have the styles.css. So we have these two is there. So this styles.css is the common file for entire project. Suppose if you have 10 files, there are 10 styles are copy, like the 10 styles need to be used in all the 10 components. It is not recommended to place in the all the files. It is recommended to place all those common styles in the styles.css. So the styles.css refers, what it refers, the common styles. The common styles are required to place in the styles.css file. And you might have another doubt, sir, I have a two styles, two common styles I have defined, how to use them in the project. So that is just simple. and go to your angular.json file and import the second styles also in the, okay, import the your second styles also here, just like this. So however you are doing it right in the top, same thing you can define the src styles 1.css. So if you have multiple, you can have them in the order here. And but usually we will have a only one styles.css per project. This is like a one global styles will have only one, and per project will have only one global styles. So we are keeping one, that is fine. Okay, and the configuration, like the when we are running in the production mode, what is the configuration we want to do, all these things it's here. Okay, this is the most important things. Why I'm mentioning these styles are very important is we are going to use the bootstrap, and whenever you are trying to use the bootstrap directly, it will not work out, and you need to add the bootstrap styles also to here, right? And okay, so that's why I'm just referring this. So here the main things are is what is this index and what is this main. These two things are important for us, and then we will start with the how to include the bootstrap and other things, right? And in the today itself, we'll try to create a new components and we'll try to give the path, all those things we will do it together. And whenever your next assignments are given, right, so in the next assignment you can use the either this project, you can use the reference, or you can create exactly same like this and you can start using the those things. And so here what is this index.html? Already what I told you is the first HTML which is going to open in your project is nothing but a index.html. So I'm just opening this index.html, and if you see this index.html, right, and what is the code it here, and it is very simple. It says it's a just HTML and HTML tag, and you have the HTML. In the HTML tag we'll have the head and body parts, we'll have two parts, and in the head part we have a just title called admin app, so we can just say admin application. And the base ref is they're just pointing to slash dash, and just leave for now, you'll understand when we are going with the angular routes. So I'm just saving it, and let us see what is our title for our application. You can see admin application. So what I'm the main point here is uh, this is the page where our first Angular loads the which page will be loaded by Angular is, that is the first question. They will ask, you can say index.html, and they will ask why only index.html file will be loaded. And you can say there is a Angular configuration, a file is called angular.json file. There we can configure any file. It is not at all like it is not mandatory to just give the index.html file. You can give the view.html, you can give the first.html, you can give any file. So the main important point here is in the Angular configure, in the angular.json file, they'll have a index property. So that property, whatever the file we are using it, that file will be loaded. If that file is loading index.html, that is our first page. If this file is loading second index.html, that will be our second index.html will be the our file, right? So that is the answer for your first question. So, and if they are asking why index.html, that is defined by the angular.json file. In the angular.json file, we can configure to any other file also, right? Okay. If you come across the bottom and you see, you are seeing there is a tag called app-root. This is not a HTML tag, right? There is no HTML tag which is calling as a app-root, but we have a body tag, we have a head tag, and we have all other tags, but we don't have any tag called app-root, right, in the HTML. But it looks like a HTML tag. So, and how it will work is, and here in the angular.json, what we have given, what is the main file, like, right? We are giving a src slash main.ts. Just go to your src and there will be a main.ts. Just open it. So we are opening this src main.ts file here, and here you are seeing only few lines of code, right? So here what we are trying to do is In the TypeScript, right? In the TypeScript, what is this import statement is this code, these lines of code are not available from our project, either like not available from this file. We are trying to use these features either from this project from another files or another libraries from the Angular. So whenever you are trying to use the another any code, you want first what you want to do is you want to import them. So suppose when you are not importing any these files, you will show a compile time error. Suppose if I am just deleting this line, so it will show in the red color just because it doesn't know where what is this component and where it comes from. So always these import statements are nothing but we are trying to link this original code to this file, that is just via import statements. Okay, so import statement is this is a TypeScript code, and this is another. So first import, and these brackets are nothing but like we are trying to import a app module from this file. And the from, after the from, you need to specify what is the file or what is the package you want to mention. You can mention the name. So this app model is generated by our Angular application, and so we can open this app model also. I will open it and I will show you what it is there. But these import statements are nothing but we are trying to get this code from the either from our project or from the external projects, and we want to use these features in this file. So to use that, we are trying, what we are trying to do is we are doing a import, right? Okay, and the next thing is this code is not written by us, it is by default generated by the Angular. So you don't need to worry how I can write this code. It is by default generated by the Angular CLI. We can directly use them. And what we are trying to do is how this our index.html file identifies what is this app root, right? And suppose I don't know what is this app root. I know the HTML, but I don't know the app root. So how the Angular identifies the what is the app root and how it is loading the content in this page, right? That's what we are trying to solve here. Okay, if you go to the main.ts file, here we have a app module, and what they're trying to do is there is a platform browser dynamic. It is nothing but it is comes from the Angular, and it will be working to work with Angular. We need to have a dependency, this platform browser dynamic dependency, and already they have done. And there is a simple code bootstrap module, like what is the starting module of your application. So this is the model, app module. So the first question, what is the starting module of your application, is nothing but your app module. And here in the main.ts we are mentioning this is the model I want to load it first. So that's why this model will be loaded into the memory. Okay, and let me open this file and we can see what it is there. So, and again I will come from this starting point, so it will be very helpful in the interview. So whenever I am loading an Angular application, how this identifies the which component to need to be loaded. So whenever my application is loaded, which file will be loaded first? Index.html. How the index.html will be loaded? It is specified in the angular.json. So in the angular.json, okay, in the now we go to the index.html. In the index.html we have the app-root. How this app-root will be loaded? Like how Angular knows this means? So in the main.ts file, we have included the app module. So if you go to the app module, you can see this. You can see this a class. So here again, I will go from the scratch here. So these import statements already I explained. These are nothing but we are trying to import these files from either our project or from the external like node packages. So if you are seeing this node module, we are importing from the Angular library, Angular core package. And if you are seeing this app component, what we are trying to do, we are trying to import from the our, whenever you are seeing current dot and these things, it is available in your project. Whenever you are seeing this at symbol and is there any package directory, it is not there in your project, but we are trying to use from the Angular library. And all these things will be there where it will be available in the node underscore module. Suppose if you are seeing Angular core, go to your node modules and you can see Angular core will be there. Okay, Angular core will be, if you see Angular and go to Angular, you can see Angular core will be there, right? So what we are trying to do, we are trying to import the ng module from Angular core library. So where this library is available inside your node underscore module, and you can see the node underscore module. This file will be there. Whenever you are seeing, like suppose if inside the node underscore module, if this file is not there, you will see an error. So to resolve that, what you need to do, just type npm install. That's all. It will download automatically all the packages defined in the package.json. Okay. So now where we have arrived app model, we have arrived. How we have arrived app model? Using the main.ts file. So main.ts file is saying bootstrap, like app model is my starting point. So I'm just going into the app model. In the app model, what we are seeing here, so first few lines of a import statements, nothing but we are trying to import from the Angular core package and the Angular browser package, and there are another two files available from the our code itself, right? Okay. And this is an annotation which is this ng model is an annotation which is available in the Angular core library. Okay, this annotation is available in the core library. Whenever you are seeing at and some name, it is nothing but an annotation where we can use some, using this annotation some feature will be added to our application. So here what we are trying to do is we are defining a ng module. That means, so this app module will be behaving as a Angular module. So suppose if you don't have this code, this is not a Angular module, it is just a class. Okay, in a TypeScript, how will you write a class? Okay, always export. Why this export is required? If you are exporting this file, then only from other classes we can use it. And if we don't have this export statement, what will happen is I can use this class only inside this file. So if I want to use the any other file, what I have to do, I have to write the export. So you have understand what is export, right? So export is nothing but I am exporting this class to the other files. If whenever it is required, I can use it. So this is the export and class. And so in the TypeScript, what we are trying to do here is it is the idea is object oriented programming language. So the TypeScript main motto is object oriented programming language. So what is that? If we have gone through any C# or Java, where the object oriented language, enabled programming languages, they have it the uh, classes. So in the object oriented classes, always what will have is you will have a class. Inside the class you will have a methods. Okay, and inside the class, and you will have a variables and variables people call properties. Okay, so in the object oriented, you will have a class. Inside the class we will have a properties and you will have a methods. So the methods will be two types here, and one is instance methods, another is static methods. Okay, these are this all are comes under the TypeScript, and even this is not belongs to TypeScript. I can say this is like a oops concepts, like what is the object oriented. So that is, it belongs to just that language. This is not required, like this is not a Angular feature, it is a object oriented programming. Okay, and if you go to the Java, and you will have a class, and if you go to the .NET, you will have a class. Inside the class we will have a variables, all these things. And here, and let me explain a simple class. I want to write a example, some person class. Okay, so to write a class, just type class. So this class is a keyword to write a class, and just give a name person and open bracket and close bracket. So what is this open bracket and close bracket means? You are trying to create a class, and all the properties inside these brackets will belongs to this person. Okay, this person, and this each person will have suppose take it as a name. Okay, and okay, name, since we are writing in the TypeScript, and here TypeScript, okay, string. Okay, so, and if you have know the data types, you can give the data type. If you don't know the data types, even in the, you can just avoid the, uh, we can try to give the direct value also, that is also fine, anything we can give it. So but always try to give the data types so that it will be will not have the types like type problems in the bottom. So creating a class is very easy in the TypeScript. Let me just click on type export. So already I told you export is for what purpose? Just to, if you want to use this class in other files, you want to export this file from the this one. So export and class. How will you define a class? Using the class keyword. So if you are defining a class and if there is any other word than the class, so this it is a your class name, and this is your you are defining a class using the class name. So I have defined a class name as a person, and my person has a name. It's like each person will have a name and some age. Okay, what is the age? Age will be a number, right? So in that if you go to the JavaScript, and if you go to the JavaScript, types will be there: string, number, and boolean, right? And array, you'll have these things. So we cannot just due to the time limits, I cannot go with the from JavaScript starting onwards. But here what I'm trying to say is, so each person will have a different properties. So here my property is name. And sir, what is this name? I will just explain. So here the first part is your name of a variable, your name of a variable. This can be any name, no need to give a name. You can give A, B, C, whatever you want. But for meaningful representation, always try to give some meaningful name, so that in the real time, if you're just giving A1, B1, C1, so it is not at all a good approach. So whenever you are writing any code, try to give what that variable refers. Suppose if this variable holding a name, give a name. This variable holding a age, give a age. Don't give A or B, C. It is okay to practice with that approach, but try to change your approach by using a proper variable names. Okay, so here we are trying to create a class, right? Inside the class, how we are creating a class? Export class name, and we have given the open bracket and close bracket. And we are trying to, what is the class will have? Class will have a variables or a properties. We are calling either somebody will call as a properties, somebody will call as a variables. Okay, so I'm just saying how will you define it? So you can define it as a like this: name and age. So what is this name and what is this colon symbol, right? So in the TypeScript, how will you define a variable with a type? So that is nothing but you will give name, like it can be any variable name, and colon. After the colon, what you need to give is, you need to give what is the type. What is the type? Not the value. What is the type you want to give? You should not give name is equal to ABC, something you should not give. So why we should not give? This is wrong. Why you should not give is, ABC is not a type, it is a value. So you should not give a value as a like this. So whenever after the name of a variable, it should be a type. Either it can be string, number, array, other what are the other predefined types, or it can be any other class also. I can give any other class also like a type. Okay, so and we will see how why we will give the other class. But for now, just remember, so a class will have a variables. Each variable will have name. It's nothing but a variable name. You can give any name, there is no restriction, but try to give the meaningful name. And here the type. Okay, so this is what. And the next thing is, how will you write a methods? How will you write a methods in the TypeScript? What we want to give is, I want to write a method. Okay, something display. Okay, display. Okay, so and I'll write a display is nothing but it will return string. Okay, in the method, what is this method? And you can ask, what is this method? And a method is nothing but a writing a group of statements together, which will execute at one time, is nothing but a method, right? I want to print the my age and name to the console. So how I can write it? I can write console.log. So this console.log will print in the browser memory. I will not write name plus I want to write age. So So this is a method. What this method is doing, it is just printing a name of a variable. If you have a name of a variable, it will print, and what is the age of this variable. So here what I want to try to explain here is, we can write a TypeScript code. TypeScript code is very easy. Whenever you are seeing a variable, name colon data type, it is a variable. And whenever you are seeing a name with the brackets, it is a method declaration. So you can write any number of method inside a class. You can write any number of a method inside a class, and it is not, suppose I am writing a1 outside of the class. Okay, this is invalid. Why? Because this a1 is not belongs to this person class, it is outside of the bracket. So what are the methods you want to write inside the a person, you have to write inside the here only, right? So and each, what is this method does is, it will write a method is nothing but a group of statements which will execute at one time, and you can write any logic which specific for that functionality. Okay, and there are two types of methods, instance and static. And static method can be defined just static and something display one, something like this we can define it. Okay, and we can write some statements here. Okay, that's all. And here in the TypeScript, the method return types are optional. Some methods will specify colon string. That means this method is returning string, where string data type, but this is an optional. So don't confuse. When you are seeing some methods, we have a data type like this, and some methods we don't have the return type. So what that does mean, in TypeScript it is optional. In the TypeScript it is optional. So in some methods they will try to return the, they will specify the return type, but some others they will not specify the return type. So it is an optional. So always you can just see a name, and inside the, before the name, so always you will have a public. So the public is nothing but you can access this method from the outside also, and there are access specifiers are there. You just go to the TypeScript and just read it, so that you can get understand. And with this understanding, we will go to the Angular and we will see it. Now, right now, see, so we have written, there is a class generated by Angular, export class name. So this class name can be anything. Don't, it no need to be a model, it no need to be it can be any name. So and so in the earlier example we have given person, but here we are trying to give the app module. So here we have a class, and the class don't have any instance variables or instance properties or methods. We have an empty class, but this class is decorated with the ng module annotation. This class is decorated with the ng module annotation. So this ng model, where this ng model annotation is coming from, this ng model annotation is coming from the Angular core package. So this annotation has a some properties, right? Some properties. So what is this properties we have? So this is like a open bracket and close bracket is nothing but a class. This class has a decorations, like declarations. Okay, so this declarations we have, and it is a array. So how, why you are saying array? It is a just a brackets, and inside the bracket we can have n number of components, and they have some import statements, and they have some bootstrap component also. Let me just try to give the access. Okay, here this is a declarations. So inside the declarations, if you are writing any component, if you are writing any component, and that component we want to register to the Angular. So how will we register our component to Angular is nothing but we will write, we will declare our component inside the declarations. We will write our component into the declarations of this tag, right? Inside the ng module there will be declarations. Inside the declaration it is an array. So inside the this array we will add our components to here. If Angular is adding, if you are generating with the Angular itself will add the our component to here. Okay, and we either we can add it manually, or Angular also will does the automatically, anything is fine. So the declaration is nothing but we are registering our components to the Angular. And what is the this imports, uh, for this for our project we want to use the another modules called a browser module and routing module to our project. So what it will do is it will import these modules and it will use together. Okay, and what is this providers I will explain in the it is part of a dependency project management, and I will just will have an example for this in the later. Okay, and what is this bootstrap finally? So bootstrap is nothing but this is the first component, it will be loaded. So okay, this is the first component, it will be loaded. Here I just added this component. So what here we have a component, right? And from where we got this component, first we have gone to the angular.json. From angular.json we have gone to the main.ts. From the main.ts we have gone the app.module. From the app.module we have the link called bootstrap hyphen like boots. In the bootstrap component we have given the app component. So I am opening the app component. So now we have got a link how to open the first component in our application, right? So we have got the first component. So here, and there is another annotation called at component, right? So Angular is these annotations are coming from the Angular itself, Angular core library. And these are coming from Angular core. So this component, like whenever we are adding any annotation on any class, that means it gives some specific functionality for this class. Suppose when I'm adding this component annotation to the app component, what it means is now this class becomes a component. And you suppose if I don't have this annotation, can I call this as a Angular component? No, I cannot call it as a Angular component. It is just a plain class. It is just a plain class. It is not an Angular component. If I want to make it as an Angular component, what I have to do? I have to add the at component annotation. So at component annotation I have added. So this annotation by default generated by the Angular CLI itself. So the main thing what we want to see is, so it is a component. So we will see what it is component. And okay. So and I have already explained, right, what is TypeScript, what is a TypeScript class. So export class name. So it is a app component. It can be any name, right? It can be first component, second component, third component. So what are the variables it is there? You can see title and is equal to value. So here what we are trying to do is we are directly giving the value, string value to the title. Here they are not defining the type, they are not defining it directly, they are giving it. So this is also possible. This is also one type of a value initialization in the TypeScript, right? So in the component, what we want to understand here is it component has a mainly three things, right? Selector, template URL, and style URLs, right? So what are the three component has three properties: selector, template URL, style URLs. So this is very important, and why the total Angular will be component will be depending on this annotation only. So component will have a three properties: selector, template URL, and template URL and style URLs, right? So what is my selector? It is there as a app-root, right? App-root. So what is this selector means? How to use this component in the HTML? How to use this component in the HTML? How can I use this component? Just using the selector, right? Now, what is the selector for this component? App-root. What is the selector for this component? App-root. So if you go to your HTML now, you can see what it is. What we have written here now, app-root. So now tell me how Angular identifies this app-root component. How it identifies? It goes to the angular.json, it identifies the main.ts, it identifies the app module, and the app module we have a declaration called app component. In the app component it came, and here we have a app root, right? So this is how Angular identifies the component, right? Why I'm spending more time here instead of going with the creating components, developing our site, is the basic is important for us. And once you know the basics, you can clear any interview. The interview, like when I go to interview panel, mostly I will ask like how the guys are understanding the Angular framework. Like anyone can tell like what is the just write a HTML form and style it, do the validation, they will tell it. Like they might come to the tutorial point or W3 schools, they can learn it. But the what is the understanding of the framework is important. That's why whenever I go to my interview panel, Like I do the interviews in Pro. So whenever I go to the interviews, I'll just ask, what is the Angular framework and why you have chosen the Angular framework. So people will say it is a framework, they have solution, all those things. But the first thing you need to say is it is a compatible for all the browsers, and it is a one solution for mobile and web. And the next question they will ask how it is possible. So already I told you how it is possible using the polyfills, right? So in the where is the polyfills are available in the angular.json, we have defined a polyfills. Using the polyfills will do the job for every browser, or every the all compatibility issues will taken care by the browser, so that we can achieve the all the browser compatibility and mobile friendly, all those things we can achieve using the that one. And the next question is how what is the first component will be loaded by the Angular. So the next what people have to tell is, so that component can be anything where we are defining inside the app module.ts. So if I am defining first component, I can give my first component as a starting component. But all things what in it is that whatever the component we are giving inside the bootstrap, so that is our first component loaded by the first component loaded by the Angular. So you just need to tell that answer. Okay, so Angular first reads the angular.json file and it loads that into the memory, and it will go from the one by one. It will load the HTML page, index.html page, and it will load the main.ts file, and it will load all the components what we are declaring inside the ng module, and it will load all things into the memory. Then it will go into the starting. Okay, so the next question, what is a component? So component is a directive in the Angular. A component is a directive in the Angular, and here it is a model driven framework. It's a like a model driven framework. And if you have knowledge in the C sharp or any web frameworks like a Java MVC architecture, you might know the like what is this model driven. Uh, Even if you don't have it, don't worry, it is nothing but a, so here what we are trying to do is each component will be a sub, like each component will be a three parts, right? Each component will be a three parts. Let me write three parts so that you can understand. One is view, right? View is nothing but if you go to any site, whatever you are seeing, that is like your view component, right? Whatever you are seeing a page representation, that is nothing but your view. Suppose if you are seeing the local host, what we are seeing it resources, Angular, and all these things we are seeing it, right? This is nothing but a view, right? And if you go to any other sites, and you can see that as a your view. So view. The next thing is model and controller. Okay, and controller. So and for each, and the next thing is if here we have an angular, learn Angular. When I'm clicking it, what is happening? Something is happening. Okay, something is, it is opening another link. And okay, so whenever we are performing any action on the view, who is taking control? Like what should happen when we are clicking on this? What should happen when they're hovering on it? What should happen whenever they are doing something? So that will be decided by the controller. Okay, that will be decided by the controller. Okay, okay. And next, what is model? Okay, what is model? And what is model is, let me explain. If you go to any contact us form, and example, just I'm showing it as a contact us form, or let me open any for sample demo purpose, I'm just opening it. Okay, so the model is nothing but if you have any forms, suppose either a registration form or any contact us form or any state where they will talk to. Suppose we want to go to the contact us where it is. Okay, okay, yeah. Suppose you think this is a just page. Here whatever we are seeing it, right? The contact us, whatever we are seeing, this is a your view, right? And here I am typing something and clicking on submit button. This is nothing but when I'm submitting this data, to whom I should submit, right? To whom I should submit the data, and what should happen, what are the validation I need to do, all things will taken care by the controller. Okay, all things will taken care by the controller. And what is the model? This model is nothing but like whatever, here we have a name field, and we want to get the data from the name and we want to submit. There is a what for each property. There is a class called models. So that what model that will happen is it will have a just piece of information what is required for that view. Okay, it is like a bridge between the your controller and your view. Okay, it is bridge between your controller and its view. And so this model will have a list of properties, and these properties will be filled by view and will submitted to the controller, and same vice versa. Sometimes if you are loading the values already predefinedly, these properties will be filled by controller and it will given to view, and this view will be loaded. Suppose there are some 10 peoples are there, like if you have taken the next example of your task, there is an admin just showing like what are the users, how many users are available in the application, we are showing it. So in the view we will show list of users, and where the data will comes, the data comes from the model, and who will provide the data, controller. Okay, so the main thing is it's like a MVC architecture of the Angular. So in the component we will have a three parts. So in the three parts, so the first, what is the first part, view, and what is the second part, model, what is the third part, controller. Okay, so now we will go to our Angular component and we will see what those are. Okay, so if you go to the Angular, for each component there will be one view file. Okay, there will be one view file. Our view is nothing but a HTML file. Our view is nothing but our HTML and CSS files, right? Our view is nothing but our HTML and CSS files. Okay, now we got the view. And where is our controller? Okay, where is our controller? So here we are, our component itself act as a controller. Our component itself act as a controller. For in the Angular component, for each component we'll have three parts. One is TypeScript file, like app component.ts file. Another is HTML file. HTML, like in the, like since we are going with the production mode, all styles will be separated into a class, a separate file called SAS file or a CSS file. Anything is fine. So we will not mix our styles with the HTML file. See, this is a default generated code, but this is not a good practice. We should not mix our HTML code with the CSS. So if you are using the Angular, you should write all the styles code. Where you have to write? You have to write in the app component.sas file or a CSS file. So all components will come with the MVC. So view is your nothing but what is the HTML file? This file should talk, right? So the next question, how will you get it, is how this component will talk to that specific HTML. Okay, that specific HTML. So see here in the component annotation what we have, template URL. So what we are defining here, app component.html file. Okay, app component.html file. So that means this TS file is associated with the which file, this HTML file. Okay, and this TS file is associated with the component styles.sas file. Okay, and now you got the answer, right? How these three are linked together, how these three are linked together. In the component annotation we have given template URL as my HTML page and my styles URL page as a SAS file. Since we are giving these URLs here, and this HTML file will be linked with the this SAS file. In the HTML file you no need to link the SAS file. Like if you are working with plain HTML files, you need to load the SAS files also. But if you are working with Angular, you no need to do it. This component annotation itself will does the things. Okay, so now we have a selector. This selector is nothing but whenever I want to use this component, what I have to write, I just need to write the selector, and I can use anywhere. I can use the anywhere. Suppose in the index.html I want to use it, I just type a app-root. So this app-root will be replaced, like this app-root will be replaced with the our app component.html file. So if you are going to an HTML page, so this is the code what we have it. And so let me show you here. So okay, this is the code, this is the total code we have in the index, like app component file. So this will be replaced in the index.html file, right? If you have the two components, we can have a number of components, but how the component will be identified is selector. So like each person we have one name, right? Likewise, in Angular, each component will have a one selector. Okay, in Angular, each component will have a one selector. So whenever we want to use that component, we can use the that selector name. Okay, we can use the that selector name. So here we have done with the first component, and we are done with the how the Angular identifies the app root also, right? So I think till now you are clear, right? Till now. Now next thing is we will go to the how to generate a new component, and so in the whenever in the next assignments, please try to create a new components and try to create a new page, like instead of I'm saying page, we'll talk in the Angular context. Whenever we are giving any assignment, try to create a new component, and we will show you how to create a new component, how to link it also, we will show it, right? So okay, now let's go into our project setup. I hope we have a basic with the just TypeScript and Angular, like how Angular loads and how Angular identifies the component, how Angular come up with the MVC things, and we know the things. Now it is time to turn into our project, our real, like our making starting with our real-time project. Like now we will start with the simple project only. By end of the project, it will become a good project. We'll just start with the first one, right? Okay. So, and it's time to change our content, right? So I don't want to see this page as my first page. I want to write my own page. Okay, I want to write my own page. So okay, suppose we are taking this as an example, right? Where I want to take this as an example. So in each application, what you will have? You will have a header, right? First you will have a header, and what you will have? And you will have a footer, right? What is the footer? For every application you will have a header and a footer, right? So let us go to this example. Suppose if you want to take this example, this has a header of this, what are the menus they have, and if you go to the bottom, and they have a footer, right? They have footer. So these two things they have. In the center they have a content, like what is the content they want to display it. Okay, so first we want to decide the how our website want to be looking. Okay, so here we'll have a header, and bottom we'll have a footer. Okay, in the left we want to have a sidebar if required. Okay, okay, okay. So if we are taking, this is our website, and we will have a header, and we will have a footer. So always all websites will have a footer, and some site will have a the left side menu, what they want to show, and this is our content. This is our content, right? Okay, content. This is header, and this is footer. Okay, and this is nothing but our sidebar. Okay, so and now we know the our project overall structure. Okay, this is our project overall structure. Now we want to build our project with the samples, right? So I want to have a header, and I want to have a footer, and I want to have a center content. The left side navbar will be, we will be adding the later. Okay, so for now, what we will do is we will start with the new project, and we will have a header, and we'll add a footer also, and we will have the content, right? We will add the content. But if you go to the plain HTML files, what you need to do is in each file itself, you need to specify header and footer. If you have 10 files, in all the files, you need to write the same code. But in the Angular, you don't need to do it. So for header, what we will do is we will generate one component for header. Okay. And for footer, we will write another component for footer. Okay. And for content, the content can be anything, right? Suppose now what we are going to do is we are going to write an application to manage the users. Suppose we have an organization or we have a company. We have some, suppose 1,000 users are there in our company, and what we want to do is for 1,000 users, each user have subscribed a different plan. Suppose if you are taking as a mobiles like a Geo, we are like each individual person is subscribing with a different plan. Someone subscribe for the monthly plan, someone subscribe for the 6 months plan, someone subscribe for the yearly plan. So each subscription is different. and we want to notify the users whenever before the subscribing their plan, we want to notify the user. So this is our application where what we are going to do, but we are not going to write on these mobile platforms, but we are going to write this application based on our project needs. So here this is a web application where we have think like we have 1,000 customers are there, and we are going to manage each user content. Like if they want to, if suppose some user access is blocked and we want to unblock them, and there will be a module for the unblocking. And if you want to see, like a administrator can see how many users are there, how many active users are there, all the content they can see. So on we will write the application for that purpose. And whenever we are providing any new features to the user, we want to notify it to them, like these are the new features we have added into our application, do you want to see? So that's why I have given a sample task for the new product, like a new features page, where I think somebody has provided the good HTML page. And what are the, like suppose I have a plan, and what is the validity, all those things I have given a task, so that we will integrate all this together. But for now we will start with the simple one. So now what we want to do is we want to have a header component, we want to have a footer component, and we want to have a content, right? So for this one we will start with the Angular. So let's go to our page here. Okay. Okay, and what we are doing is first I will stop it, because okay, I will stop it. And what I will do is I will remove everything whatever I have it, right? I'm removing everything whatever I have in the HTML page. I'll just say my first HTML. We don't need to have that the default content in our application. So we now we are seeing, right, only first HTML, right? So only first HTML we have it, but we don't want that one. What is the architecture we want? We want to have a header, right? We want to have a header, we want to have a footer, and we want to have the content, right? So to do that, first what we need to do, we need to generate the component. So what we need to do is we need to generate a component. Okay, so how will you generate a component? The next question is how will you generate a component? So how will you generate a component? That is easy only. Either you can go to Angular CLI. Let me go to Angular CLI, right? So don't by heart any commands, because we cannot remember for our lifetime. So what we can do is, instead of that, just go to whatever the site they are giving it, and definitely they will give you the documentation for each and every command. So what is the command I want to write it? I want to generate some classes. So I can go and start with the commands. To generate a new component, we can use a ng generate. To start with the ng serve, we can start with the ng serve. And we will see, and even in the even our readme file we have the clues, right? Even our in the readme, I'll open the readme now. And why I'm just saying it, I can type the command, I know, because but someday tomorrow if you are forgetting, you need to know how to do it yourself. That's why I'm just showing it. So to generate any command, you can use ng generate and component. So and component name, how our application is generated, ng new, but how our components are getting generated, ng generate command. Okay, so for now we will work with the components, that's why we will give a component. But tomorrow there is a concept called directive, pipes, service. Okay, another are there. If you want to generate them, you can just type ng generate. Instead of component, you can give the directive. Instead of component, you can give the pipe. Okay, you can give all those things. So today what we are going to do is we are going to generate three components, right? Three components. One is for home, for sorry, header, footer, and the content. Okay, these three things we will generate it. So I'm just stopping this. Okay, first how to generate the component. So just type ng, either you can type generate, okay, component, okay, generate component, and component name header. Okay, so what is my, I want to generate a new component for header. Okay, just type, let us see what is happening. Okay, if you see ng generate component header, So what it is happening inside the src app folder, it has created a new folder called header. Inside the header, it has created the, we will open the code and we will see together. Okay, so inside the header, if you see, we have generated a header.css and a header.spec files and header.ts file. Okay, and you don't confuse like why didn't give any explanation for the spec.ts. It is a testing file, it is a testing framework file. If it is a unit testing file, mostly we will not write the unit testing cases for the html, so that's why I am ignoring this component. Okay, even this is not at all required, this is not at all required, even we can delete it. Okay, so we now we have generated the header.html, right? So header.html is there, header.component is there, header.css is there. So and earlier I have told you in the app component, whenever we are generating by the angular cli, the component will be added automatically in the header.component. See, right now you can see header.component is added into the declarations automatically, right? It is added. Okay, now I want to generate a new component. Okay, okay, ng uh, okay, let me how to do it. Ng generate, okay, component and component name. What is the component name? We want to write it footer, right? Footer. So instead of giving like this, I can give a shorthand notation ng, g for generate, c for component, and name of the component footer. Okay, footer, right? Right, enter. So this also does the same, but it is a short notation, that is a long notation. Okay, now okay, these two things are done. The next thing is I want to write a center page, right? Already what we have decided, this is our header, this is our footer, and we want to have some center, like to hold the whole content, right? To hold the whole content, we want one page. Okay, to hold the one content, and generate component, I can say home. Let it create three components. Okay, okay, now three components are done. Okay, and let me add the, so by default what we are trying to do is we will show some plans to the users. Okay, we will show some plans to the users, and let me go to the, so if you go to the bootstrap framework, there is an example folder is there. If you go to the examples, right, just come down here, they have given so many examples. I'm just taking one example. So what we're trying to show here is we want to show like this. Okay, this is a header and this is the pricing and this is the our footer. Okay, we want to have some, we want to have this plan in the content, right? So this one they like they having as a pricing. So let us create a new component for the pricing. So how to do it? Ng generate component pricing, right? Pricing. Okay, okay, now we have done with the all the four components. Now I will go, I will start the, I will start the npm start. So what is happening? Whether all four components will be displayed to our application or only one thing will be displayed. Only this first html only will be displayed. Why? What is the reason? We have done the, we have created the components, but we did not integrate in the first page where we are linking. So it always like, let it start. Once it is started, we can see that. Okay, it is started and it is always showing the first.html, right? So instead of that, what we're trying to do is we will go to the our home component, right? Our home component, this is our first component. Let us create let us create the first page. Like what is the first one? What do you want to have? We want to have a header, right? We want to have a header. And what is the next, what we want to have? Next content we want to have. The next what we want to have? Next footer, right? So for header, we have one component or not? We have one component. Go to that component, copy the this selector name. Okay, copy the selector name. I am copying the selector name and come to the home component and just type the, okay, I'm just holding it. Okay, right. Okay, this is my plan page. And now what I want format document. Okay, now what I want to bottom as what I want to have it footer, right? What is my footer selector name? App hyphen footer. Just copy from there, and so that instead of type mistakes, we'll get the correctly, and we'll say okay. So now we have the this page. We have the headers and we have the footers also, right? And we have the center part also. But this content will be changed, right? Okay. Now what we want to have it now in the app home. Okay, in the app home, go to your first page. Like what is our first page? App hyphen component.html page, right? So instead of just hard coding this first HTML, we will display this one. Okay, so now don't confuse, I will explain it again, no need to go in the hurry. Okay, so what we have done is we have created four components, right? We have created four components. Okay, and so one each for one, like for each functionality we have created one, and that is done. And the next thing what we are trying to do here, so okay, and we want to show the home page, right? See, now we have included the home. See, header works and footer works, and this is my plan page. But is this our real we want to show it in the future? No, right? We want to have a site like this is our header, and we want to have a photo like this, and we want to have a content, right? So for this one, all you need to have is HTML, right? All you need to have a HTML skills, where you will write it as a footer, where you will write this as in a center page. Okay, where this will write in a center page. Now we will do it here. It comes with the real bootstrap. Here is the bootstrap knowledge is required. Okay, now we'll turn this page quickly into a real like this project. So what we need to do, I don't know how to get the navbar. Okay, I don't know how to get the navbar. So what we need to do, just go to bootstrap.com, right? Go to bootstrap.com. Already they have like go to the what we want to have. We want to have a header like this. This is called navbar. Go to components. Okay, go to components, and okay, and there will be a nav bar in the left side. Okay, I want to copy the nav bar. Okay, come down. You can see the nav bar, right? You can see the nav bar and these links. This is a sample, and they have given the code also. Okay, they have given the code. Even we can write ourselves in the nav bar and all those things. Just copy this code. And where do you want to place this? We want to place it in the header, right? Go to our header component. Where is our header? Go to our header, just HTML page, remove this and paste this. Okay, save it. So now what we have done is we are simply just copied the nav content and replace it. So if you are seeing right now, right, my header is added, but this is not like a nav bar, not like a header. Why it is happening like this is we are not using the bootstrap framework in our project yet. We are not using our bootstrap framework in our project, not yet. So if you want to start using bootstrap framework, what we need to do, we need to inform our Angular, hey Angular, I want to use the bootstrap framework in our project, and do it. So we need to do some such steps, right? To do that, what you need to do is go to whatever the framework you want to install. Just go to that site, and there will be a getting started, right? There will be getting started, and there will be installation steps. Okay, so if you want to install via node package manager, what command you need to write is c npm install bootstrap. Okay, npm install bootstrap. Just copy this line and go to your CLI. Okay, stop the existing running because we want to add a new library itself. So I just either you can type it also, there is no problem. Just type npm install bootstrap. So what it will do, it will download the bootstrap framework into our node modules directory. Okay, if you are opening the bootstrap now, there will be no bootstrap folder will be there currently. Once it is done with the installation, you can see the folder. Okay, once you can see the folder. Okay, so what is happening is now we have installed the bootstrap, and we want to see the bootstrap in the left side. See, right? the bootstrap is installed. Okay, inside the bootstrap what we have the distribution folder and css and all the remaining things are there. Like inside the css they will have a bootstrap grid, all those things are there. So it confirms that our bootstrap is installed fine in our machine, and we want to see in the package.json, right? In the package.json, already I told you the package.json will be added automatically, right? We want to confirm it. Okay, go to your package.json and verify whether the bootstrap is added or not. See, this is an entry added by npm install, right? So it is added as a like package dependency. Whenever we are calling it as a in npm install, it is added as a dependency. Okay, now it is installed. Now we will start it again. Okay, so before starting it again, what we need to do, another small step we need to do is we want to use all the styles from bootstrap to our framework. Okay, we want to use all bootstrap styles into our framework. To do that, just go to angular.json and styles is there. There you just need to add one entry. Okay, add one entry. That is nothing but where these css files are there, like inside the node underscore bootstrap, those files are there. So we want to add that entry. Okay, we want to add that entry. I will just go and get that just syntax alone, angular.json. Okay, where that file is there, node underscore module. Okay, so okay, so where this file is there, node underscore module, bootstrap, distribution, CSS, bootstrap, CSS. Okay, so even you can verify it in the even if you can verify it in the node modules folder. Already I have shown you distribute under the distribution there is a CSS, under the CSS it is there, right? Okay, now we will start our project. Okay, npm, and how to start, npm start. Okay, it is started. Okay, now we will go to our website and we will load it again. Okay, and what is okay, npm install. And okay, the problem here is we did not save this file, and to reflect any changes in the angular.json file, we need to save it and start it again. Okay, I'm just starting it again. Npm start, it is started and it is done, right? Now you see, right, this is our just started application. You can see there is a header we have added, right? We have added a header. So always this navbar is nothing but a company name, where what is the company name, they will mention this company name. Whenever they're clicking, it will come as a home, right? And here they will have some links. Okay, here they will have some links, and they will have the form that is based on all our your projects, whatever the project you are working, that is all based on their architecture and their plan and their UX styles. And so, but every side you will have a one header and every side will have one footer. So now we got our header quickly. Okay, right? Now what we want to have one footer, right? So how we will get the footer? Just go to that bootstrap again, and okay, and the documentation. Inside the documentation, go to the components, and same navbar can be used as a footer also. So there is a style. And how I know this example I have it here is I have gone through this bootstrap documentation for multiple times, so a number of times, and I am also suggesting you to just go to each and every component and how they are looking and how where we can use it, so that you will also aware of it, like whenever it is required, and we can use the certain component from the bootstrap, or we can get some idea how to code it also. Either if you are already familiar with these frameworks, you can write your own. Okay, and container placement, right? See, this is a, we want to have a bottom. Okay, fixed bottom, we want to have navbar. Copy this and go to our, where we have to go to, we have to go to our uh, footer component. Now this time go to footer component and remove the footer works, just added. I will say this is an example of admin application, application dev by some software solutions. Okay, software solutions. Okay, and save it. Now you can see our home page. home page, right? Now you have seen this is our footer, this is our header, and you can say why it is there is no border and all those things. You can add a border, that is not a big issue. You can just go and add a border, type border, okay, and it will come as a come with the borders, right? Now you see there is a border in the here, but it's a light border. You want to see border some color, you can specify any color also over here, and you want to have this content in the center. There are some css classes, okay, there are some css classes where text type 1 center, and all these are bootstrap classes. That's why you can use either there will be justify center or text center. You can use those and it will come automatically in the center. So your part is Angular will just how to use the Angular, I will explain it. So using the style placements, all those things you can learn from the bootstrap here, right? Okay, now the next thing is important is this is my plan page, right? So here I want to write a some content here, right? But suppose tomorrow we want to have some other thing. So how will you go with this, right? And okay, uh, let us have with the home and link. I'll change the home and links to home as a plans. This link as a my plans, and whenever you are working, and you can add some more links to here, and when you are clicking it, you can display the respective content. Okay, you can display the respective contents over there. Okay, and let me go to the home. Okay, instead of writing this one I will say out router outlet. Okay, there is a special tag called router outlet. So what it will do is, suppose we want to display some component, we want to display some component in the bottom, like when I'm clicking hash, suppose my plans will be there, right? Do you have created any component pricing, right? Okay, pricing component, what is the name for this? It is a app hyphen pricing. Okay, app hyphen pricing. Okay, uh, okay, now we want to have go to our home.html, header.html, header.html. Okay, so I will change these links based on our needs. I will say instead of home I will say plans. Okay, and instead of links I will say my plans. My plans, you can give any name and we will save. So that first we'll change the name. Okay, here plants and my plants both are there. So what we want to do get here is whenever I'm clicking my plants, I want to show the content of my plants. Like whenever clicking plants, whenever I'm clicking my plants content should come. Suppose whenever updates are there, like suppose a new link you can create here. It's a disable link, we can remove that. It's not required for us. Or we can, okay, just add a link. It is easy. Just copy this and paste it, and I will say updates. Okay, update. So we have three links now, my plans, update. Okay, now what we want to achieve is when we are clicking this, we want to show one content. When we are clicking this, another content. When we are clicking this, another content. So how we will achieve this is the main thing. And with this almost I think I have took some time. So I'll wrap up this session. So don't worry, it will be ending in the soon. I just need another 10 to 15 minutes so we can wrap up the session. Okay, so now I want to add the, whenever I'm clicking this, I want to show some content, right? So how to do this? For this one, we need a Angular routing feature. Okay, for this one, what the feature we want? Angular routing. So where we have to go to Angular routing? Okay, that is very easy. Just go to your app modules. If you go to the app modules, by default, there is a import called app routing module. Okay, if you see, there are two imports are there, and one is browser module, another is app routing module. So go to app routing module. If you see the app routing module, this is also a simple class. Okay, this is a simple class where we have a empty routes are there, right? For now we have a just a routes are there. Okay, so here we need to add a routes entries. Here we need to have a route entries. Okay, here we need to add a route entries. Let us have just sample route entries so that we can just directly add it. Okay, I want to have a route entry. Okay, I'm adding it. Okay, for each route entry, there are like we need to have a one object here. So there are two parts mainly. One is path, another is component. So path is nothing but when we are like, let me click on plan, and so there is a plan component is there or not plan. So what is the component name? What pricing component? So what is the component name we have generated? Pricing component. Okay, so when maybe I can write it as a pricing. Okay, so whenever I'm trying to calling as a pricing, this component will be loaded. So where I have defined this information is app-routing-module. How this is loading into the Angular memory? It is defined in the app component, app component modules, right? In the module, we are importing this routing module. So this routing module, we are defining whenever the pricing is comes, we need to load the pricing component, right? Okay. So go to your header HTML and the plants are there, right? So instead of giving this hash, remove this. There is a new attribute called router link is equal to give the pricing. Okay, give the pricing. Save it, and we will save all. Okay, okay, okay. Now click on the pricing, right? See, the pricing is works because we just added only the component. Okay, now I want to write my plants because there is nothing I have written. So if you want to write my plants, what we need to do is, again I'm going with the another example. Please be careful here. So I'm just stopping here. So this will show you how to create a new application, like new component, and how to link in the router links. Okay, okay, how to generate a new component? ng generate component. Okay, I want to have my plants. Okay, my plants, I just done it. Okay, now what will happen? It will generate a new component with the name called my plants, right? Okay, now what we need to do? You need to go to the app routing.module.ts, and here you need to write an entry. Okay, here you need to write have an entry. So what you have? First two properties, path, and path what we need to have? My plants. Okay, my plants. Okay, and remember that this is not a predefined things. You can give any name based on your needs. This can give any name based on your needs. Okay, here I'm just giving as a my plants. And component. Okay, and component is you need to give what component should be loaded whenever this URL is hit. Okay, what component? I have a my plants component. Okay, my plants component. Okay, so now what I need to give? I have my routing is ready, my component are also linked, but in the header.html I need to link it, right? For my plants, I just need to remove the route angular. Okay, just give router link is equal to, I need to give the my plants. Okay, now click on save all. Okay, I just saved all and start it. ng generate plants. Okay, okay, npm start. Okay, it is built successfully. Now go to our component, right? This is our HTML page. Click on plants, your pricing is works. Click on my plants is working, and click on updates because nothing works because I did not write any code. So your duty is whenever you are giving any HTML page, just add a link in the top here, and whenever you are clicking it, that page should be loaded. Don't write all the code in a single page. Try to create a different components for each one and paste them in the here. Okay, so if you want to summarize, let me summarize here. So here, first what I need to do is I need to generate the component. Okay, generate the component. generate components. So how will I generate a component? Using a ng g c for component and component name. Okay, name of a component. Okay, once it is done, second what I need to do is I need to add them to the routing. Okay, add them to the routing module. Okay, and where I can add it, so I can go to our routing module.ts file and I can add it, right? So example, I can have a entry like this. Okay, I can have entry like this. Okay, third what I need to do, whenever I'm clicking any HTML links, what I need to do, I need to provide the link which I have defined in the router. Okay, so go to your header.html, go to your header.html and take any things, take the example. Okay, so here what I need to do is, okay, so here I need to specify a separate tag called router link and the name it is a my plan. So where this my plans is available, if you go to routes, it will be available here. Suppose if you are doing any spelling mistakes here, my plans one and here my plans, you will nothing, it will be shown in the UI. So don't expect the output. You make sure that you have the same, like whatever the name you are defining in the routes configuration, you need to have the same name in the HTML file. So if you are done with that, so automatically it will work fine. Let me ask the presenter again just to ask, get the unmute them so that, so with that today session is done and next session we'll go with the deeper concepts, but for now you can try to work on the how to create the new components and write your own HTMLs. And in the next classes, like in the next session, either I will ask the Karthik or Madin, like what is the plan, so that we'll get the next thing. Okay, guys, thank you. That's all.
Thanks, Sudhakar. Thanks for the detailed session. Um, if no more questions, we can wind up. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.